If your home has started feeling more stressful than secure, you are not alone. For many homeowners, the problem did not begin with one dramatic event. It built slowly. At first, maybe the payment still seemed manageable. Then insurance increased. Then property taxes increased. Then maybe there were medical bills. Maybe income dropped. Maybe a job was lost. Maybe a spouse retired. Maybe repairs started showing up at the exact wrong time. And little by little, what once felt stable started feeling heavy. That is one of the hardest parts of this situation. It often develops gradually. Because it develops gradually, many homeowners do not recognize how serious the pressure has become until they are already carrying a lot of financial and emotional stress. They keep telling themselves it will get better next month. They keep shifting money around to make things work. They keep hoping one good month will undo several difficult ones. And while that is understandable, it usually does not solve the actual problem. Nevada Strategic Property Group is a collaborative team serving Northern Nevada, including Skip Benton, Toni Taylor, and Savannah Lee, with Coldwell Banker Select Real Estate, along with Angie Salcido with Premier Credit Solutions. One of the things we focus on is helping homeowners understand why the pressure is happening before the situation becomes harder to manage. Because once you understand the cause, you can begin looking at the situation with more clarity and less fear. A lot of homeowners blame themselves when homeownership starts feeling unaffordable. They assume they must have made a mistake. They assume they should have planned better. They assume other people are doing fine and they are somehow the exception. But that is usually not the case. In many situations, the home did not change. Life around it changed. The cost of keeping the home changed. The cost of living changed. The household budget changed. And once several of those things move in the wrong direction at the same time, even a very responsible homeowner can start feeling stuck. One major reason this happens is medical bills. This catches people off guard all the time. A health issue does not need to be catastrophic to create real pressure. It might be a hospital stay. It might be ongoing treatment. It might be medications, specialists, follow-up care, or just one medical event that creates a stack of bills large enough to throw off the whole household budget. And when that happens, people start making short-term adjustments to stay afloat. They use savings, they carry balances, they delay one bill to pay another. They reduce flexibility in other parts of the budget just to keep the house payment current. That is when the strain begins spreading beyond one category. It is no longer just about medical costs. It becomes about cash flow, timing, and the growing stress of trying to keep everything together at once. And once several of those things move in the wrong direction at the same time, even a very responsible homeowner can start feeling stuck. One major reason this happens is medical bills. This catches people off guard all the time. A health issue does not need to be catastrophic to create real pressure. It might be a hospital stay, it might be ongoing treatment, it might be medications, specialists, follow-up care, or just one medical event that creates a stack of bills large enough to throw off the whole household budget. And when that happens, people start making short-term adjustments to stay afloat. They use savings, they carry balances, they delay one bill to pay another, they reduce flexibility in other parts of the budget just to keep the house payment current. That is when the strain begins spreading beyond one category. It is no longer just about medical costs. It becomes about cash flow, timing, and the growing stress of trying to keep everything together at once. Another major issue is property taxes. Taxes are one of those expenses people often do not think much about when things are stable. But when values rise and assessments rise, taxes become very real very quickly. For some homeowners, especially those on tighter or more fixed incomes, increased taxes can create pressure even if the mortgage itself has not changed much. That is frustrating, because on paper the home may look more valuable, but in real life, the homeowner may simply feel more squeezed. Then there is insurance. Many homeowners have been shocked by how much insurance has increased. What used to feel like a manageable part of homeownership now feels like a meaningful monthly burden. And the challenge is that insurance is not optional. It is part of the core cost of keeping the property. So when insurance rises at the same time taxes are rising, and everything else around the household is also becoming more expensive, the pressure builds quickly. Then we have income loss. Sometimes this is a lost job. Sometimes it is fewer work sessions, reduced hours, lower commissions, a slower business, or retirement income that no longer stretches far enough. In some households, the problem is not total income loss. It is simply enough income reduction that the math no longer works the way it used to. And that is often how this begins. Not with complete collapse, just with numbers that do not line up as comfortably as they once did. That is when homeowners start feeling fragile financially. One unexpected repair can feel huge. One medical bill can feel overwhelming. One bad month can throw off several others. The breathing room is gone, and once breathing room disappears, the home starts feeling different. It stops feeling like security. It starts feeling like pressure. That emotional shift matters. A home is supposed to be a place of stability. When it starts becoming a source of stress, it affects more than finances. It affects sleep. It affects mood. It affects relationships. It affects the way people think about the future. And sometimes that emotional weight is exactly what causes people to delay taking action. They do not want to face the numbers. They do not want to admit the pressure is real. They do not want to feel embarrassed. But embarrassment is one of the biggest reasons people wait too long. They do not want family to know. They do not want neighbors to know. They do not want to say out loud that something no longer feels manageable. So they wait, hoping the situation improves on its own. Sometimes it does, but often it does not, and that is why clarity matters so much. The goal is not panic. The goal is not pressure. The goal is not pushing someone into a decision. The goal is understanding. What changed? What is the home really costing each month? What pressure points are making the situation harder? Is the problem temporary, or is it becoming more serious over time? Those are important questions, because a house can become unaffordable before a missed payment ever happens. A homeowner can still be current and still be in trouble. If they are draining savings, using credit to bridge the gap, delaying maintenance, or carrying constant stress just to keep up, the situation may already be more serious than it looks from the outside. That is why waiting can be so costly. When people delay too long, they usually lose something valuable. Options. Early on, there may be more room to think, more room to plan, more room to compare possible next steps. But as pressure grows, urgency takes over. And when urgency takes over, decisions become harder. That is why Nevada Strategic Property Group believes early clarity is so important. Not because every homeowner needs the same solution, not because every homeowner should sell, not because every difficult situation leads to the same outcome, but because no good decision starts with confusion. It starts with understanding what is actually happening. If you are feeling stuck in a home you can no longer comfortably afford, the most important thing to remember is this: you are not the only one, and you are not weak for feeling the pressure. Rising medical bills are real. Higher taxes are real. Insurance increases are real. Lost jobs and reduced income are real. And when all of those things start pushing against the same household budget, the stress can become very real, very fast. The first step is not solving everything at once. The first step is understanding why the home has started feeling unaffordable in the first place. Because once you understand that clearly, you are no longer just reacting emotionally. You are starting to think strategically, and that shift matters. It moves you from uncertainty toward control. This is Nevada Strategic Property Group, serving Northern Nevada. If your home has started feeling heavier than it used to, do not ignore that feeling. Take it seriously. Look at the numbers honestly. Understand what changed. Because when you understand the pressure clearly, you put yourself in a better position to make a smarter decision about what comes next.